Hello students. So moving towards next topic of this chapter, which is Battle of Plassey. This is very important topic of this chapter. So please keep a pencil in your hand and note the most important points of this topic. Now, as in our previous videos, we have seen three topics which were introduction to this chapter, arrival of Europeans and discovery of sea route in India. So now moving towards the most important topic, which is Battle of Plassey. Yes, before going towards your textbook part, I will give you a short explanation that what was Battle of Plassey. Yes, children, you can see in this picture that I have drawn two parts, which is BEC and SUD, in which BEC is British East India Company and SUD is Sirajudullah. You can see that I have written with a yellow ink won. So you can see that British East India Company won this battle, and it was fought on 23rd June 1757 AD. So this Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757 and was declared at a ground of a village which was known as Plassey. So this battle was known as Battle of Plassey. Yes, as war was declared on 1757, but what was the reason behind this war? As you can see that in the past it was there that Sirajudullah was the Nawab of Bengal. He was ruling over the Bengal. Yes, in the past it was there that if the trade center want to establish anything or they want to do anything, they have to take the permission from the Nawab of that region before doing that. But one day this British East India Company built a fortress without taking permission of Sirajudullah. Knowing this, Sirajudullah destroyed this fortress, and when destroying this fortress by Sirajudullah, this news reached to the Madras, where there was a small army of the company which was leading by Robert Clive. Knowing this, Robert Clive came to Bengal. And when he came to Bengal, he decided to defeat with Sirajudullah. So there a war between British East India Company and Sirajudullah was been there. But what happened? A tragedy happened that one of the Nawab's commander-in-chief, Mir Zafar, was along with the Robert Clive. Due to some bribe given by the Robert Clive, he was along with it. So this battle was won by British East India Company. So now we are moving towards your textbook part. We will be knowing more about this battle moving towards your textbook. So students, now moving towards your textbook part, Battle of Plassey. So I am reading. Sirajudullah was ruling over Bengal. As I have said, the Nawab of Bengal was Sirajudullah. Due to his impulsive nature, he had some opponents in his state. Now what happened? That due to his impulsive nature, impulsive means without planning if he is acting or acting without doing anything. So due to his this type of nature, he had some opponents in his state. Opponents means opposition parties. During this period, the British East India Company built a fortress around the trade center in Kolkata on the pretext of security reasons. Now what happened? That this British East India Company, without taking the permission, they built a fortress around the trade center in Kolkata. Now, without taking permission of this, they built a fortress, but without taking permission of Sirajudullah. As I've said, that it was necessary to take the permission of the Nawab of that region. But Nawab Sirajudullah destroyed the fortress. When this news reached Madras, a small army of company led by Robert Clive reached Bengal in order to head the Kolkata trade center. Now what happened when this news reached of destroying the fortress of British East India Company, when it reached to the Madras, what happened? That when in Madras, a small army of this British East India Company was also there, which was led by Robert Clive. When Robert Clive heard this news, he came to Kolkata Trade Center and he decided to defeat with Sirajudullah. In spite of army of East India Company being strong, they realized that it was not easy to defeat the Nawab's army, as they know that Nawab's army was quite strong and quite more bigger than this East India Company. So Robert Clive resorted to treachery treachery means betrayal. A conspiracy was planned in order to defeat the Nawab, in which the Nawab's commander-in-chief Mir Zafar and Seth Amichand were coaxed to join. Now what happened suddenly? Uh, the war was to be started to begin. So now the Nawab's commander-in-chief Mir Zafar and Seth Amichand were coaxed to join this war. On the pretext that Nawab is unnecessarily harassing the people, a war was declared at a ground near a village named Plassey. Now what happened? They told that on the pretext that the Nawab is unnecessarily harassing the people, a war has been begun at the ground which was named as Plassey. So this Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757. As I have underlined with the red highlighter, please children underline that the Battle of Plassey was fought on 23rd June 1757. The battlefield of Plassey is situated 38 km from Murshidabad, West Bengal. It was situated away from Murshidabad, which was 38 km. Yes, according to the plan, Mir Zafar lost the battle. Now what happened? Mir Zafar lost the battle. Sirajudullah was being defeated. Due to Robert Clive's treachery, the Battle of Plassey just ended in just a half day. Now, due to this Robert Clive's treachery to being joined with the Mir Zafar, the Battle of Plassey just ended in half day. The company as a result got a freehold over 24 parganas. Parganas, I will explain you what is this means jillas. Mir Zafar was made the Nawab of Bengal. Now, Sirajudullah was being defeated by East India Company. So, next Bengal, Nawab of Bengal was Mir Jafar. Thus, the foundation of the company rule in India was laid with the Battle of Plassey in 1757. So, this was the Battle of Plassey in 1757, and I will tell you some consequences of this battle, which were first was freehold property. The property was being in the favor of the British East India Company. They were having all this property. They were utilizing the resources. So utilization of resources was been there. They were having a big land with them. And third was brisk trade. Brisk trade means there was unlawful trading was been there. They were making their own rates. So these were some of the consequences of this battle. So ending with this battle, we have seen that there was a war fought between British East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal Sirajudullah, and it was fought on 23rd June 1757, and this battle was won by British East India Company due to conspiracy of Robert Clive. So children, now moving towards your next topic, which is Battle of Buxar. As in Battle of Plassey, we have seen that Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal by Britishers. Now as in Battle of Buxar, before moving towards your textbook part, in short I will explain you that why this Battle of Buxar was being fought. The Battle of Buxar was fought against the United Army, in which United Army lost this battle in front of East India Company, and this battle was fought on 22nd October 1764. Why was this battle fought? As we have seen that in Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar was made the Nawab of Bengal, and Britishers had made them the Nawab. Now what the Britishers were doing, they were trying to collect more from the Mir Jafar, but Mir Jafar could not give all of them. So Britishers, what they did? They did replacement. They replaced Mir Jafar from the Nawab of Bengal and made Mir Qasim the new Nawab of Bengal. Now Mir Qasim was more ambitious than Mir Jafar and thus became a threat for the company. So now again what the Britishers did, they replaced this Mir Qasim, removed Mir Qasim, and again they made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal. Now what happened? That Mir Qasim took a refuge, he took a shelter with the Nawab of Awadh. And one day what happened? That the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had came to the Nawab. And this all of three has been decided together to fight against the company and thus declare a war. And so this war was being fought at the Buxar between East India Company and this United Army on 22nd October 1764, and thus the company got the divine right to the Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So now moving towards your textbook, I am reading now. the Britishers made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal and under different pretexts. Pretext means, as we know, that excuses. Under different pretexts, try to extract plenty of wealth from him. Now, what the Britishers were doing? The Britishers had already made the Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal. Now they were trying to collect more Nawab, from this Nawab of Bengal, Mir Jafar. Due to their greed to gain more powers, the East India Company managed to dethrone Mir Jafar and made Mir Qasim the Nawab of Bengal. Now, what they did, as the greediness of Britishers were increasing, and the Mir Jafar could not satisfy all that greediness. So, what they did, they made Mir Qasim the Nawab of Bengal instead of Mir Jafar. They removed Mir Jafar. Mir Qasim proved to be more ambitious than Mir Jafar, and now the Mir Qasim was more ambitious than Mir Jafar, and thus became a threat for the company. And now the Britishers became a threat, that how will they collect more gain, how will they collect more wealth from this Nawab. So again what they did, they replaced the Mir Qasim and made Mir Jafar again the Nawab of Bengal. So now hence Mir Qasim was removed and Mir Jafar was again made the Nawab. Mir Qasim took refuge with the Nawab of Awadh. During this time the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam had came to Awadh, so all three of them decided to join hands and fight the company unitedly and thus declared a war. Now what happened? Then Mir Qasim took the refuge, means shelter. He took the shelter with the Nawab of Awadh. And what happened? That during this time the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam came to Awadh. So all of the three decided to join hands and thus they decided to fight against the company. So moving towards next paragraph. At Buxar, the East India Company fought against the United Army, underline 22nd October 1764. So what happened at Buxar? The East India Company, what they did, they fought against the United Army on 22nd October 1764, in which the United Army lost the battle. So what happened? There was a battle between East India Company and United Army, in which United Army lost the battle. Thus the company got the divine rights to the Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. So this was the Battle of Buxar, which was fought between East India Company and between the between the United Army. So children, in our next topic we will see expansion of company rule. Yes children, now moving towards your next topic, which is expansion of company rule. In this we will see that the Regulation Act was being implemented in 1773, and under this Regulation Act there were appointment of many governor generals, and in this we will see that many of the governor general were appointed, and in the position of them what happened and how their powers has been there. So now moving towards your textbook, the English government passed a regulating act in 1773 AD. What happened in 1773 AD? A regulating act was been passed, and according to which the governor of Bengal was made the governor general, and all the trade and political activities of the company were brought under his direct control. Now what happened? According to this act, the governor of Bengal was made the governor general, and all these political activities, administrative activities were in the control of the governor general of Bengal. So who became the first governor general of Bengal? The governor of Bengal. Sorry, Governor General, the Governor of Bengal. The Mumbai Madras Governor and his council were brought under him. Now what happened? The Mumbai Madras Governor was also brought under the control of the Governor General of Bengal. Thus, Warren Hastings underlined. Thus, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. So, who became the first Governor General of India? Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. Now, we will see that under the power of Warren Hastings, what happened? During his tenure, the first Maratha War and second Mysore War with Hyder Ali of Mysore was backed. Means during his tenure of Governor General, what happened? Two war were being found. First Maratha War and second Mysore War with whom? With Hyder Ali of Mysore. With Hyder Ali, this war was found. So The problems of East India Company increased because it had to face both the powers simultaneously. Now, what was happening as the war was being there increasing more, so the East India Company has to face many difficulties. So, moving towards next paragraph, Cornwallis took over as Governor General after Warren Hastings. So, after Warren Hastings, who became the Governor General? Cornwallis. After Warren Hastings, our second Governor General was, after Warren Hastings, the second Governor General was Cornwallis. During the tenure of Cornwallis, the Third Mysore War took place with Tipu Sultan, famously known as Tiger of Mysore. As we know that Tipu Sultan is quietly famous known as Tiger of Mysore. And under the tenure of Cornwallis, the Third Mysore War was fought. With whom? With Tipu Sultan. Yes, in first, when Warren Hastings was Governor General, we have seen that two war has been fought, which was first Maratha War and second Mysore War. And under the tenure of Cornwallis, the third Mysore War was found. First and second was fought. First and second was fought with Hyder Ali, and third was fought with the Tiger of Mysore, who was Tipu Sultan. Next, the company had to join hands with Marathas and Nizam to defeat the Tipu Sultan. Tipu could not win against the combined forces and had to accept the treaty. Now what happened? Treaty means a formal agreement. Now what happened? That lastly, the company has to join the hand with Marathas and Nizam to defeat the Tipu Sultan. But at last what happened? Tipu Sultan could not win against the combined forces, and the treaty what the agreement they have made, he has to completely lastly accept that treaty. Now children, moving towards our next page. Now after Cornwallis, Sir John Shore became the Governor General. As we have seen that during the tenure of Cornwallis, the Third Mysore War was fought, and after Cornwallis, who became the Governor General? Sir John Shore became the Governor General. Yes, during to some rigid policy adopted by him, the East India Company fame declined and Marathas became more stronger. Rigid means harsh policies. And what happened when Sir John Shore were there? At that time, many harsh policies were being adopted by him. So the British East India Company declined their fame and Maratha became more stronger. So after Sir John Shore were for the short period of time, as we have seen from first, if we see who was our first Governor General, Warren Hastings, then who became Cornwallis, and after Cornwallis, who became Sir John Shore. But due to the rigid policy, Sir John Shore were being declined, and Marathas became more stronger. Next, so Governor General Wellesley, who came after John Shore, got the responsibility of making the company supreme in India. So after Sir John Shore, who became Wellesley. For this, Wellesley introduced the subsidiary alliance system. The conditions of subsystem and the states adopted under this are as follows. So what happened? This Wellesley adopted the subsidiary alliance system, which was quite strong for them. As we will see that what were the terms and conditions of this subsidiary alliance system, which were quite strong. First, the army trained by East India Company government will be provided to the state that accepts the system. What this system first point speaks about, that the army trained by East India Company government, that the East India Company government, the Britishers will provide them the army, but what they have to do, they have to apply this subsidiary alliance system, they have to completely apply this system. And if they will apply this whole the system with the terms and conditions given by the Britishers, so the Britishers, what they will do, they will provide their army, they will provide their trained army. If anything's happened in the state, they will provide their trained army. Second point, in return, the state accepting the system will provide for the army or give away provinces. Provinces means principal divisions with equivalent income to the Britishers. And what happened in the return? If the state will accept this system, what they will do? They will provide, as I have told, that they will provide the army or give away their provinces, their divisions, their principal divisions of the country. Third point, without the permission of the company, the state will not wage war or sign a treaty with other states. Now what happened? What this company What did this East India Company told? What did this Britishers told? That without the permission of this company, they will not allow anyone to come. They will not give any of the thing. They will not declare any of the war. They will not sign any of the treaties. Before doing anything, they have to take the permission of the company. Next point. There will be one English representative in the state assembly. In the state assembly, it was compulsory to have a English representative in all the particular states. Next, other foreigners not to be employed in the state. Any of the foreigners was not allowed to be entered in any of the state. So we have seen this terms and conditions of subsidiary alliances system which were quite strong, and if so finally what we see from these terms and conditions, that if the terms and conditions, the people have to compulsory apply the terms and conditions. If they will apply these terms and conditions, in spite of this, the Britishers will give them their strong, the East India Company will give them their strong army. So the state rulers who accepted the subsidiary alliance system. Here we will see the states who accepted the subsidiary alliance system. You can see first is Nizam. The Nizam was the first state who who accepted the subsidiary alliance system. Second was Mysore. Third, Awadh. Fourth, Gaikwad, Scindia, and many of the names which has been given. But it is important to remember first and second state, which are Nizam and Mysore. Next, as you can see in the picture, that East India Company has been there and capturing the people, means they are saying that to accept our subsidiary alliance system. Wellesley and subsidiary alliance system. Next paragraph. This system was like sweet poison. This was like sweet poison. By implementing this system, Wellesley annexed many provinces, and annexed means incorporate territories into own territories. Wellesley annexed many provinces and expanded the rule of East India Company. Governor General Wellesley asked Tipu Sultan to accept the subsidiary alliance system. Now what they did? This Wellesley told Tipu Sultan to accept the same system, which he refused. First, when this Wellesley told Tipu Sultan to accept the subsidiary alliance system, Tipu Sultan declined to accept this system. He refused to accept this system. For declining the alliance system, the company with support from the Nizam attacked Mysore in 1799 underline. So as when Tipu Sultan refused to accept this system, what did the company with support from the Nizam? What they did? They attacked Mysore. As Tipu Sultan was known as Tiger of the Mysore, what they decided? That if the Tipu Sultan is refusing this system, they decided to attack the Mysore in 1799. During his fourth Mysore war, Tipu lost his life while fighting against the British. So what happened? Tipu Sultan lost his life as he has not accepted this treaty, he has not accepted this subsidiary alliance system, and lastly fighting against the Britishers. So till now we have seen that there were Governor Generals like Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, Sir John Shore, Wellesley. Wellesley who had accepted, who has been made their own subsidiary alliance system. So now we will see that who is the expansion of company rule. In expansion of company rule, as we have seen that many of the Governor General have been appointed, and Governor General like Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, John Shore, Wellesley, and we have reached till Wellesley subsidiary alliance system. So now after Wellesley we will move to further. So open your textbook page number 6. We were in the last paragraph, last line. After Wellesley, Hastings came to India as Governor General. Now what happened? Our new Governor General was Hastings. He waged a war with Nepal and made the Gurkhas to join the army. Now what happened? He waged a war with the Nepal. He fought a war with the Nepal, and he allowed the Gurkhas to join the army. As after Wellesley, Hastings became next Governor General, so it is said that he fought with the Nepalians and Gurkhas to join our army. Next, Hastings fought a battle with Pindaras and took control over them. And Hastings also fought a battle with the Pindaras and took control over them. he fought with the Nepalians, he fought with the Pindaras. Yes. With the Third Maratha War, the supremacy of company was established. So during the tenure of Hastings, there was a Third Maratha War. The supremacy of company was established. Supremacy means the highest authority. Next paragraph. In comparison to the earlier Governor General, William Bentinck is known as Liberal Governor General. So now after Hastings, who became next Governor General? He was William Bentinck. Bentinck believed that the dissatisfaction in different states due to imperialistic policy adopted by the previous Governor General could not bring any unity. So what did William Bentinck was thinking that due to the dissatisfaction in different states, it does not bring any imperialist. Imperialist means of an empire. He says that, William Bentinck says that for his liberal policy, he was famous for his liberal policy, but the company wanted someone who can control the people, who can bring a unity among the people. So he was very liberal in his deeds. Next paragraph. Dalhousie came to India as Governor General in 1848. Underline, children. When did Dalhousie came to India? In 1848. Underline. 1848. So after Hastings, who became our next Governor General was Dalhousie in 1848. Now it is important, the topic Dalhousie policy of annexation is important. He was fierce imperialist and Dalhousie adopted the policy of annexation. Underline. Fierce imperialistic means violent, he was very aggressive. Dalhousie adopted the policy of annexation for the expansion of the company. Dalhousie policy of annexation. Yes, children, you can see that the annexation were made, something were added, something were changed. As we can say that Dalhousie was a reformist. Reformist means to make a better by improving. Yes, he was very quite famous, he was very quite imperialism, and he want to just change everything, he want to just make an improvement. So by improving many things, he has been annexed many of the states. We can see that how this annexation was made. He started annexing of the state and annexed many states under different pretexts. Yes, children, first you can see is annexation by war. Annexation by war means adding something. You can see in which state there was annexation of war, in Punjab and Bagu. In these two states there was annexation of war. Moving towards next, it is annexation due to kings dying without heir. In this means if the king is not having their heir, then in this state it was been added in Satara, in Jethpur, in Sambalpur, in Udaipur, in Jhansi, in Bhagat and Nagpur. After annexation by war and after annexation due to king dying without heir, there comes annexation on pretext of mismanagement. Yes, annexation on pretext of mismanagement means if the king is mismanaging, if there is a reason of any mismanagement, then there is a change in that state. So that state was, which state was annexed? The state which was annexed was Awadh. Next is annexation on pretext of debt collection. Yes, means annexed due to any debt collection of any king or something. In it was according to the Nizam province. Yes. After the debt collection, it was annexation to end the namesake rule. Namesake means a person or thing having the same name as the another, or giving our or we can say that this namesake, along with it there was a giving wealth. In that you can see two states are there, Karnataka and Tanjore. So after this Dalhousie's annexation, we have seen that there was annexation. He annexed by war, he annexed the king dying without heir and many of the state. Annexation of pretext of mismanagement was there, annexation of pretext of debt collection was there, annexation to end the namesake rule was there. So after this, moving towards our paragraph, beside being an imperialist, Dalhousie was also a reformist. As I have said, that reformist means to make better by improving the policies. So he started, we will see. The first railway line in India between Mumbai and Thane, 1853 AD. Underline. Dalhousie started the first railway line, very, very, very important line. The first railway line in India, which was between underline Mumbai to Thane in 1853 AD. So who started? Dalhousie started. What he started? A railway line between what? Between Mumbai to Thane in 1853 AD. A wireless system between India and England established a public work department, English education, etc. So what happened? A wireless system between he has started he has been changing many of the things. As he was a reformist, he was improving a better future. So he started a wireless system. He established many of the PWD, means public work departments. He establishes English education. A lot of improvement was been given. Were all introduced during his tenure. He passed laws to ban child marriages and advocate widow remarriage. Yes, which is a very, very, very important law. He did that to ban the child marriage which was happening at an earlier age. He banned this laws and advocate widow remarriages. Yes. Within 100 years from the Battle of Plassey in 1757, the British rule and empire both expanded. So now what happened? The British rule and empire was, after the Battle of Plassey, was more and more expanding. But in the process, they had to face the dissatisfaction of the Indian states, and this was manifested in the form of forced struggle for the independence in 1857 AD. So now, moving towards our next topic, which is economic impact of the company. From seeing our whole chapter, now we will study that from the whole chapter, from the subsidiary alliance system, from the system given by our Governor General, what were the impact, what were the economic impact on the Indian people by coming of the companies, by coming of British East India Company. As we were seeing that subsidiary alliance system was being adopted, in which the Britishers were having the power without any responsibility, and the Nawab who was having the responsibility but not having the power, which we have seen in subsidiary alliance system. There was an unfair revenue collection policy by the company, and what happened that the Indian cloth industry, which was imposed unfair taxes, were being paid on that. So now moving towards economic impact of the company. Yes, I'm reading. When we evaluate the 100 years of company rule in India, we realize that India, which has an enviable position in the world in the previous centuries. Yes, as I've explained in the starting of the chapter, that India was quite a richest country. It was very famous for its product, for its cultural, for its religions, for its economy. Become merely a country that produces raw material for England and a prospective market for goods produced in the factory. As we have seen that quietly the India was famous for its many of the products. People from different countries were coming to India to buy their products. Bengal exported cotton cloth, raw materials, sugar, jute, muslin under 1708 to 1756. But after the dual power policy, the glitter of economic prosperity of Bengal was faded. As we have seen that in India was quietly famous for their product, we can see that Bengal, what they were exporting the cotton clothes, raw silk, sugar, jute, all they were exporting. But what happened when the dual policy, means Vimikri Sashan, the dual policy of subsidiary alliance system was being adopted, what happened? The Bengal faded. The dual power policy, underline, the dual power policy was introduced for the first time in Bengal, whereby the, underline, what was the dual power policy? The dual power policy was introduced for the first time in the Bengal, whereby the power of collecting revenue was with the Britishers. Now what happened? As we have seen, the dual power policy was the Britishers were collecting the revenue from the people, while the responsibility of people's welfare was with the Nawab. Yes, as Britishers were collecting the revenue, they having the power, but what was the responsibility? The responsibility was along with the Nawab. Thus, the British got the power without any responsibility, and the Nawab had the responsibility without any power. Now, what happened? British got the power, but they were not having the responsibility. But Nawab, who was having responsibility, he was not having the power. This was known as subsidiary alliance system, which ruined Bengal economically. So, what happened due to subsidiary alliance system? The Bengal was faded. Next paragraph. The unfair revenue collection policy by the company made the India peasant a debtor. So due to this unfair revenue collection by the Britishers, the India was becoming day by day a debtor. The British government imposed unfair taxes on the Indian cloth industry. So what they were doing, they were unlawfully imparting the tax on the product. They were imparting the unfair taxes on the Indian cloth industry. As we have seen that it was a consequence, a most important consequence of a Battle of Plassey. That after the Battle of Plassey, we have seen that there was wise utilization of resources. There was a quite, we can say that unfair taxes, unfair trading was been there. Prices has been increasing by the Britishers. They were doing so. They adopted various deceitful practices to ruin the prosperous Indian industry, because of which it completely collapsed. The Indian artists become poor, and now after the Indian artists became poor and unemployed. So what happened, as the people, the Britishers were collecting more revenue taxes, unfair taxes from the people, so the people of India were become very poor and unemployed. The company traders forced the weavers of Bengal to sign the contracts for providing definite quantity of cloth in the short period. Now what happens, the company traders force, they are forcing the people, they are forcing the weaver of Bengal to sign the contract for providing more quantity of cloth. If the weaver, now what happened, if the weavers were refusing, he would be punished by being laced or jail. Laced means a strict something was happening, that if they will not do this, they will be shooted with the weapon, or they will be jailed. So what happened, the company, the East India Company was forcing the people to sign the contract, and if the people will not sign this contract, he will be punished. Next paragraph. Before the arrival of company, the Indian villages were self-reliant and prosperous. But under the company rule, they become dependent and poor. So what happened, that before the arrival, the people of India were self-reliant. They were doing their work. They were paying their taxes. Lawful agreement was being made. But what happened, when the company rule came, they all became dependent and poor. Next paragraph. During the rule of British East India Company, the first railway line between Mumbai and Thane and steamer service between India and England was started, and development of ports in Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata also took place. So as we have seen that under the system of Dalhousie, the first railway line was being started between Mumbai and Thane, and is also streamed more services between India and England, which was started, and developments of ports in underline. There was a development in ports like Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata also took place. So now moving towards the next topic, which is social impact of company rule. Social impact of company rule. During the British administration, the spirit of freedom of speech and thought developed among the people due to development of newspaper. Now what happened, as the British administration was there, more and more development was there, as we have seen that Dalhousie, which was quite a reformer who was developing and improving a state, there was an annexation of the policy was also been made. Next, in the Indian society, certain wrong social customs, rituals were prevalent during this time, like sati system, female infanticide, child marriage, etc. So as we have seen that what was happening in the Indian society, certain restrictions were there, certain rituals were there, which were quite prevailing during our past. Like we can say that sati system, female infanticide, child marriages, which has been currently stopped now. Rajaram Mohan Roy, Durga Ram Mehta, Behramji Mulberry, etc. were the stalwarts whose role was instrumental in getting the rules passed with the help of the Britishers. As the administrative framework in India was Anglicized means information of forcing to learn more and more English. There was a demand for the people with the knowledge of English. As with the administrative framework in India, for more and more this company, there was more and more increasing knowledge of English. English education began to be imparted in India due to Lord Macaulay and De Beers. As recommended by Charles Wood, universities were established in Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata. So, as we can see, underline children, English education began to be imparted in India due to whom? Due to Lord Macaulay and the Charles Woods, and by the recommendation of Charles Woods, the university were established in underline Mumbai, Madras and Kolkata. Next paragraph. A whole class of people with knowledge of English developed because of English education. So because of this English education, which is a very social impact of the company rule, that because of this English education, people of India can learn a lot of knowledge of English. With the passage of time, this group made demands for social reforms and gave momentum to process of the reforms. So now moving to the conclusion of the chapter, that what was the conclusion, what mainly happened. Thus, the East India Company came to India being alert by the prosperity and trade opportunity. Yes, mainly why East India Company came to India? For making their profit. Their intention not was that there was no intention to foul with someone. The intention was to make a profit and make the trade centers. The company rule in India produced certain good and bad results in political, economic, social and cultural field. But what happened when the company ruled in India? There were many political, economical, there were many good results, there were many bad results, as we have seen the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxars, the policies, many of the policies. The company adopted the policy of making England prosperous at the cost of India, and the reforms they made in administration for their own interest indirectly proved to beneficial for India. As we have seen that there were battles of Buxar, Plassey, which were quietly been there, and afterwards what happened, that the Britishers had applied the policy, the subsidiary alliance system, in which it was quite affecting the people. The policy which were adopted was making in means they were making a quite profit making, and with whom? With the cost of India. And the reforms they made in administration, they were making for their own interest, which was directly. But after happening this much, it was directly a more beneficial to India, that the Indian people they got a lot of knowledge of English. So we are ending our chapter, and we have seen in this chapter we have covered the topics which were introduction, discovery of sea route to India, arrivals of Europeans to India. We have seen Battle of Plassey, which was quite very important. Battle of Buxar, which was very important. Expansion of company rules, in which we have seen that many of the governor general were been appointed. After that, we have seen the economic impact of company, the social impact of company, and lastly the conclusion. So, thank you, children.